Now, China will see the beginning of its leadership changeover later this year as the 18th National Congress of the Communist Party gets underway in Beijing on the 8th of November. That meeting will lay out the path that the country is expected to follow over the next 5 years and who will lead it for possibly the next decade. However, interest in another possible leadership change just 2 days earlier, that's the US presidential elections on November the 6th, seems to have caught the popular imagination here in China as well as the date draws ever closer. Just a few weeks ago, when we asked people on the streets of Beijing who they'd prefer to see in the White House, a few even knew who Mitt Romney was. Now, posters on the popular microblogging service Weibo are busily discussing the pros and the cons of the two candidates and what a Republican or a Democrat in the Oval Office might mean, not least for China. Last week's live TV debate has only increased that interest, and at least some Chinese viewers seem to agree with the majority of their American counterparts that Romney definitely had the best of the 90-minute back and forth. To find out a little bit more about views in China's online community about both the race itself and that debate, let's cross over now to the newsroom where our researcher Julia Liu is standing by. Right, Julia, so let's hear it. What sort of comments have you been seeing about, well, the whole race, but particularly about the first of these live TV debates?
Well, obviously, the US presidential election, of course, is attracting a lot of attention on the internet here in China. In fact, almost as soon as the debate between the two candidates was broadcast, it has already been posted on the internet here. And many top news websites such as iPhone.com and 163.com posted reports and analysis related to the debate. But in terms of the two candidates' performances, from what I've seen on the internet, it seems that there isn't complete agreement on who won the debate. Of course, some net users do agree with most Americans' opinion that President Obama was very weak and seemed uncomfortable. Well, this post from Weibo.com is one of them, saying, "In my view, Romney did a better job. It's okay for Obama to attack his rival's approach, but why go back to blaming onto George W. Bush? But I guess maybe in the first round, Obama just wanted to take a conservative position." And it seems that this poster, Chen Xunpei, also feels a little disappointed with the president. At first, I really had great expectations for Obama's performance, but after seeing this, I have to say Clinton was the real great man. However, there are also still a lot of net users who stick by Obama, like Fei Xiang de Huashengren, saying, "How could Romney say what he did? As far as I remember, what he said in the television debate is just the opposite of what he said before." I think that's the reason why Obama was suddenly shocked. And this poster isn't too happy with Mitt Romney either. She says, "In my opinion, Romney's attitude seems to be a little overbearing. In China, we have an old saying, sometimes when you are too eager to get something, you won't get it in the end." Finally, this poster from eNotes.com seems to be one of those who feel everything was better in the past. I just can't understand why so many people got excited about this television debate. As far as I'm concerned, compared to 4 years ago, or even 12 or 20 years ago, this one was the most boring one, without a single bright spot we could praise.
Okay, Julia, there's been quite a lot of commentary about China in this presidential campaign so far, and this debate saw China mentioned too. What's being said about that?
Yes, of course, there have been plenty of unhappy comments about Mitt Romney mentioning China 3 times, and all of them negative, especially his line that he would crack down on China if and when they cheat. Here's one post on 163.com saying, "I just don't know why every time they use China as the target. What exactly have we done to deserve this?" And this poster from iPhone.com says something echoed by many other net users. Here's what he has to say. "I don't care what he says, but if he really wants to do something, could he repay the money the US owes us first?" Then, of course, many net users don't think there's a point in taking anything said in the campaign too seriously, like this poster from Beijing. "If they like to criticize China, then just go ahead and do it. We are well used to it at this stage." And although this poster, Sheng Shi Liu Guang from Sohu.com, does seem a little upset. No matter who we are talking about, in my view, only incompetent politicians would use other countries' issues as a target when they can't solve their own problems. But Feng Er views it's all quite normal and to be expected. Before we say anything, I think we should not forget that Romney himself is a businessman. So in my view, it's not strange to see these words he says on the television debates, which are in his own interests. However, Ye Tan, a financial commentator, thinks that this might be a warning to China's manufacturing industry, saying, I think what Romney said on the television debate should really get our attention. The fraud label he puts on Chinese products in the US will adversely affect Chinese companies there. In my view, I really think Chinese companies now should pay more attention to this issue and use legal means to protect their credibility abroad.
Right, one last question then. It's not that long to go till November the 6th, so who's the favourite for the job at the moment, at least according to China's online community?
Well, I have to say that from what I've seen online here, President Obama has the edge over Mitt Romney in terms of a preference, and most seem to believe he will be the final victor. This poster, Xin Qiang from 163.com, is one of them. Although Romney might be a good businessman, it doesn't mean he'll turn out to be a good leader too. In my view, what Americans are concerned with are the overall plans for the economy and unemployment. And although Obama might not have done a great job over the last 4 years, he also didn't make any big mistakes. So I think if things continue like this, then Obama may well win. And a source from China.com.cn obviously feels the same way. In my opinion, Romney has two main problems. First, he has no experience in terms of diplomatic issues. And second, he hasn't come up with a clear diplomatic policy. And I think this will be a fatal weakness for a future leader. And finally, I'll finish off with this warning for Chinese election fans from a poster in Tianjin, which has won a lot of support from other net users. No matter who becomes president in the end, just remember, they'll never do anything beneficial for China. They are elected by the Americans, and what concerns them is the national interest of the US.
Well, that sounds par for the course for a national leader, I guess. Not many of them get elected to help other countries. Thanks for that, Julia. And that was China Take researcher Julia Liu with reaction from Chinese net users to the ongoing US presidential elections. Next here on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines. Let's see what's got Chinese net users curious these days.